Hey everybody, it is Chuck Barone on Friday, April the 19th, 2024. Well, another crazy week wraps up, guys, and it is, well, nothing was reported today. There's no data. Look at this sheet. It's, there's all kind of crazy stuff going on. It is, without a doubt, I think free straight jackets for everybody because, that's where we're going. It's just the craziest stuff ever. Anyway, before I get rambling on, let me welcome everybody to the show. And as always, thank you guys for your support. It's nice to see so many people in the conversation already. You guys, awesome. I appreciate it. Nice. Attila, Salty Dog, Darren, Sally. Nice to see everybody on there. Anyway, let's talk about the crazy today. Guys, anybody take a look at these markets today? All right, let's talk. So you had the stock market. Finally, actually, something good in the stock market. The market is actually being driven right today, at least for one day, by earnings. Oh man, what a novel idea. Because typically, when I was in the market, when I was a broker, that's what we were taught. It's all about earnings. It's all about PE. It's all about, our earnings going to grow, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so today was an earnings day, and you can see by the results how the earnings turned out. The Dow gains 211 points, 37,986 on the Dow, because American Express came out with super great earnings. Okay. The NASDAQ, and then don't forget the Dow is pretty narrow, right? So one stock that has a great day can move the whole average. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, falls 319 points, 15,282 on the NASDAQ. The S&P falls another 43 points, now at 4967. The S&P, we were just looking at almost 5,400. So these numbers are going backwards in a hurry. Now, the negative stuff was a little bit of some stuff in AI, NVIDIA going down. Their super microcomputer friends didn't have good earnings. They're crashing out. So that affected NVIDIA, which affected the whole NASDAQ and the whole tech sector, and boom, down we go. So at least I try to find normal, and there's actually something normal. So let's celebrate that, even though the numbers are kind of crappy. Because that Dow gain is more like a fiction than a real gain in the market, because it was all about Amex today. The bond market selling off again. The 10-year sitting now at 4.62%. That's down 3 basis points there. So actually the bond market, people buying some bonds there, the 10-year. The 2-year sitting unchanged right at the Mendoza line, 4.99%. And we all know that the markets do not want to see these yields above 5%. They don't want them getting close to the Fed's number, the overnight number. Anyway, so the bond market, not much the markets were quiet today because there was nothing really driving them other than the stock market with their earnings. The dollar today down very small, down 7 basis points on the index, sitting at 106.12. So still a super strong number for the dollar. In spite of a strong dollar, precious metals, gold and silver, guys, just keep on rocking, man. Wow, you see these numbers. So the gold today goes up $13.30. $23.92.20. $2,392, $2,400 any freaking second, right? Silver up 47 cents today, now at $28.75. Guys, this is unreal. I mean, these numbers, the dollar at 106 should be beating the crap out of precious metals. But everybody's onto the game now. You got central banks buying it by the ton. Everybody in this market now, plus the normal usage. Every bit of gold that's ever been found is still here. It's not like other, metals and chemicals that get used in the process of industry or whatever. Every little millimeter, every little whatever of gold is still here. Jewelry, everything else they use gold for. So seeing prices advance this way, Man, guys, I tell you what, it's great if you own gold and silver, which hopefully everybody listening to this show does. We've always been advocating 10 to 15% of your portfolio in gold and silver, not overloading it. We have all 100% in precious metals, but a decent part of your portfolio. And everybody's sitting on fat gains. It's great. But here's the weird thing. I mean, how come no one is kind of tripping on the ominous signal that gold and silver rising like this, especially at this clip where it's just boom, 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 boom every day going up, 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 up? I don't know, man. Nobody's seeming to be freaking out about what's driving metals higher. That would be a lack of faith in the U.S. dollar and its purchasing power. I'm guessing would be number one on the list worldwide. So very interesting that you have a strong dollar and precious metals rising at the same time. Crazy. Oil today up 41 cents, $83.14. Oil was starting to look like I always like bullion the best. Oil was looking like it was starting to move back down. And truthfully, when you have Israel bombing Iran last night, for oil to only be up 41 cents is itself kind of a weird miracle here, right? But West Texas Intermediate, $83.14 for a barrel. But I'm telling you guys, as soon as they figure this Iran-Israel thing out, these oil prices are coming down. Bitcoin rally is up today again, up $623, 64,322 for Bitcoin. Still a good, strong number. Next week's going to be interesting because the halving, I believe, that happens today. So we'll see where Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies go next week. It's going to be interesting. All right. Let's talk about the weirdness of the day today, because I got to tell you, it was a weird day. So I was reading this article. It was very interesting. And we're saying that there's this weird anomaly in jobless claims reports, right? So that comes out every Thursday. We talk about it every Thursday, how the job market's super hot, right? But check this out. There's some strange consistency to these numbers, right? 5 of the past 6 weeks, okay? The jobs number, the unemployment claims number, has come in at 212,000 exactly. 5 out of 6 times. Now, we're all invested. We're all about markets and money. But you know what the mathematical odds of that happening are? It's bananas. You got 50 different states reporting unemployment figures. They all have 50 different systems, 50 different rules, 50 different websites, 50 different everythings, right? Hundreds of offices across the states. And now, somehow or another, 5 out of 6 weeks, the number's exactly the same. Does that sound right to you guys? Because I got to say, my sniffer's going off like crazy. This looks really, really, really bad, guys. It's like, how do you believe, when you see anomalies like this kind of stupidity, how are you supposed to believe anything they say? I guess you're not. And then it's certainly reflected in my audience. You guys are ruthless about that. Every time I talk about government numbers, I have at least a half a dozen people reminding me that the government's full of crap and their numbers are all a lie. But this is really, really strange because it's really obvious. So it's odd that they're doing that like that. 5 out of 6 weeks. So I can't wait to see what the number is on Thursday now. If it comes in at another 212,000, well, we know the jig is up, right? Okay, moving on. That's a weird one. Moving on. CEO pay today. Listen to these numbers, guys. New record for CEOs. Thank you, Attila, my friend. You're a good man. I appreciate your generosity, bro. CEO pay today. Listen to this, man. New record. Climbed 11.4% from last year. Now up to $23.7 million per year. Really? Okay, up 11. So the inflation rate is 3.5%. At least that's what they tell us. You got increase in wages year over year about 4.1%. But the CEOs, they get 11.4%. Tell me again how it's the minimum wage people that are the big problem, guys. The CEO now makes 365 times more than the average floor worker. That's about the typical between 350 and 400, depending on the sector, is typical here in the US. And that just drives me crazy because you got the CEO makes more every single day of the year. That's Sundays, that's Christmas, New Year's, every holiday, every weekend, every day, every single day of the year. The boss makes more than the worker does for the whole year. So every day he makes more than the guy does in a whole year. And it's the small guys that are the big problem. Okay. Now, guys, I get kind of, I misunderstand what I'm saying. I'm a capitalist. I want everybody to get as rich as possible. I want to get as rich as possible. I want every single person watching this show to get as rich as possible. Not at the expense of everybody else, man. Especially with the way the media is portraying this all like, these geniuses. Look at them. We talked about it yesterday for a couple of seconds. We talked about Elon Musk and his $56 billion payday. I can't wait to see how the voters of Tesla rock that one, man. It's freaking crazy. As we noted, moving on from that, because that just pisses me off, Israel hits back at Iran, retaliating for Iran's strike. Very quietly, though. No big deal, no big casualties. I think it was a reprisal for, what Iran did, obviously, but it was designed more to save Israel's face than it was to do real damage to Iran. Hopefully, this is the end of this little skirmish between these two, and they'll get back to their proxies like they usually do. And then we can kind of see oil prices come down. That would be what I would hope for. Jamie Dimon coming out today, bashing Bitcoin again. This guy, not a fan of Bitcoin. So we know how he feels about precious metals and how JP Morgan does. But called Bitcoin a fraud and a Ponzi scheme. How do you really feel, Jamie? Well, I tell you what, I don't know how many millionaires are being created from the preferreds at JP Morgan or any of their investment stuff, but I know there's a lot of millionaires being created right now with Bitcoin. I don't know of any vehicle creating more millions. Now, is it speculative? Yes. Do I know as much about it as I know about the rest of these markets? No. But I do know that it's making people rich. So there's going to always be an interest in that. Ponzi, well, that's getting to be old now, right? Fraud, well, we'll see. Some of these exchanges and some of the stuff did not do anything to tarnish crypto's reputations, right? But I don't know if I would call it a fraud. Fascinating stuff, though, is you got the two sides still banging heads, the past and the future, right? Now, this is not good. Realty is my thing, a mortgage guy. Listen to this now. The average new mortgage here in the United States now sits at $2,800 per month. That's the average freaking new mortgage. Are you freaking kidding me? My mentor, the genius, used to tell me all the time, you got to be able to pay your rent or your mortgage or whatever with one paycheck. That's the key to wealth and success, or not having a mortgage or rent is even better. And obviously that's where you want to ultimately get. But, he said if it takes more than one paycheck to pay your rent or your mortgage, your rent and your mortgage is too high. Well, with the numbers we're getting today, I'm glad he's not alive anymore because his head would be exploding with these numbers. How are people supposed to do that? The average wage in the United States, the median toward the top of the median, $4,800 per month. And that's pre-tax. $2,800 mortgage payment is 58% of that money pre-tax. So that's before they take taxes out of that $4,800, which is going to ding it. How the hell is that? How are people supposed to do that? Fed got their work cut out for them because, Obviously, the real estate industry, people suffering with numbers like that, there's gonna be a big spike. If once unemployment turns around and that people start laying off, which was the next recession, which we're way overdue for, how are people going to pay those freaking mortgages, man? It's crazy. Anyway, now I want to finish the week with some funny stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's funny to me because it's just the sheer stupidity of it. Listen to some of this crazy, guys. Congress, the Republicans in Congress, today came out and proposed $2.7 trillion cut to Social Security and Medicare. Really, guys? You want to announce that now? Right before we're going into an election? Don't you get it? The other team's going to frame you with that? $2.7 trillion from Social Security and Medicare. At the same time, they want to, extend Trump's tax cut package for rich people. Okay, that's crazy. Listen to this one. Freddie Mac, the government now, proposing to insure through Freddie Mac second mortgages. This is the dumbest crap I've ever frickin' heard in my entire life. Freddie Mac going to put itself in subordinate position, really? Okay, that's interesting. The idea here is a lot of people have tons of equity in their house, and they're sitting on a 3% mortgage that they don't want to refi to take cash out, right? So they're trying to figure out a way to get people borrowing money because that's what they love. So now they're trying to find a way to make second mortgages more appealing. Putting them under Fannie's umbrella makes banks more likely to lend second mortgages. They're insured that way. They never have been before for a reason. And we all the banks all learned their lesson in the big kablooey in 2008, man. They ate every second mortgage they ever wrote. And now we're going to have Freddie insuring seconds. What could go wrong? Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, today banned chemtrails. Now we know what these are. You guys have probably heard of this stuff, right? The planes fly by, they leave the trail. Guys, they're not seeding us. They're not doing anything diabolical. That's just temperature and moisture, okay? But they banned those, so I got to see how, planes are going to not have exhaust like that. That's going to be fascinating. And finally, to finish up this crazy-ass week, I was reading this article today. Red Lobster offered this huge endless shrimp promotion. It bankrupted them. Yay, America, you guys are killing it. So they offered this promotion. Come on into Red Lobster. We'll give you all the shrimp you can eat. They lost $12 million in the fourth quarter doing that promotion. Now they're talking about Chapter 11 bankruptcy to reorganize because Americans have a big appetite for shrimp. Man, I got to tell you guys, the world's off its freaking rocker. Anyway, that's it for this day. That's it for this week. We got a whole another week of crazy coming next week. We'll have Powell, we'll get PCE, all kind of good stuff. We appreciate your support, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us all week, all your comments. Thank you, Attila, for the donation. Much appreciated, brother. And everybody get out there, have a great weekend, and relax. Get away from the crazy if you can. And we'll be back on Monday, and let's get the crazy machine rolling back up again. Everybody have a great weekend. Until Monday, then, take care. Thanks.